So today is June 19th, World Sickle Cell Day. My name is Hertz Nazer and I'm a painter. If you haven't not been following anything I've posted, I usually post on YouTube on a channel called Life Art and Sickle Cell. But I don't know if I'm gonna upload this to YouTube or Facebook. Facebook finally gave me a check mark next to my name. It took maybe about 4 years of asking and trying to get to that point. I'm grinding, man, trying to make it as a painter, as an artist. So many years have passed by, and you know, turning 43 this year, I live with sickle cell disease. I fight the memories of each crisis, each time that I fight for my life, and I fight to struggle to understand that I made it. I made it through this one crisis. And you never know when the next one's gonna come, and you're gonna fight through it. So, for many years, I lived through a deep, dark depression, and I'm still fighting depression. You know, I don't go out publicly and do public events and speaking anymore like I used to do for sickle cell, but you know, I try every time someone asks me, I go out and I try and I speak, but it always feels like there is so much more I could be doing, but I don't have the power necessary to make the changes that I want to see in my own community. That's why I wanted a check mark next to my name because I feel like, hey, those celebrities with these little check marks, the people with the millions of dollars, the people who can buy advertising to get as many followers or likes as possible. How you can get a video to maybe a million views instead of 13,000 views. you know you can get 5 million views on a video. you know this video I had on YouTube and I posted here on Facebook. Silent suffering. I posted it on YouTube in 2007 when I moved to the place that I'm currently staying at, Reed's Art Space in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I've just been thinking so much about how depressed I feel sometimes, and when I try to get out for sickle cell, and when I look at the community and what I see so many people are fighting, and they are trying to advocate, and they're trying to tell the stories about our lives to this world, and the world don't care. Everything is about business. Like when I'm on Facebook, this is a major company and it's all about business, and it's all about, even this is my page, but it's about promotion. It's about advertising dollars. It's about, business. And I just sometimes, because I'm depressed, I feel helpless and I feel like I'm not doing enough. So yesterday I went to Queens for Q scan because you know Gloria Rochester is like a mother to me. I met her in DC at one of the SCDA events, and I met her daughter Taisha, and I basically really, the heart of Taisha is in her mother, and I basically fell for the woman that Taisha is, a beautiful woman, a beautiful lady, you know, and she has sickle cell just like I do, and we became friends and more. But because of the way I feel depressed all the time, and because of the pain between the two of us, and when you're looking at a woman who says, they would like to marry you, you don't really take it seriously, because you don't feel like you are worth the trouble, or you don't feel like you are worth the you are worth the love. you know Sometimes you just don't feel like you are worth it. So one of those things that I look at is that the lacking of family, and understanding what's going on in my own community. And it's hard for me to get out because I see so many people with sickle cell disease. They're struggling and they're fighting. One of the things that happened this week that touched my heart is, like, Miss Rochester is working so hard at Queens and trying so to push. And I just wonder if I'm doing enough. I can't be at every place, at every event. I met some really nice people. This is a post by Miss Venice Richards. She was just, posting on Facebook. The thing is, it's like the night before I even went down to Queens, because I had to get up early, depressed. I couldn't even sleep. You know, it's like it's hard to tell people what's going through your mind, and facing the world and going out, listening to the loud music. It's like listening to some of my favorite songs from back in the day, seeing a lot of beautiful people trying to fight sickle cell disease, and they're trying to, you know, live their life as normal as they can, but they're fighting for this illness. They're fighting for the community. They're trying to do for each other what the world won't do for them. We are not helpless, but we have lost so many in this battle, in this struggle. World Sickle Cell Day shouldn't just be a one day thing. So for me, it doesn't really matter what the date is, what the day is, or how we celebrate life. We just have to do more, and we have to care more, and we have to keep pushing, because the reason I feel depressed is that even while, we're celebrating, Miss Rochester has a folder in the back in the office, and she opened it up, and it's full of pictures of, warriors who have died, who have passed on, people, she gave care to, took care, family members, loved ones who have passed from this disease, people who have used the service that QScan provides. There are many organizations all over the country that are members of the SCDAA, and some are not, who give services to families with sickle cell, who provide testing for trait, who provide education so you can take care of yourself better when you have this disease. Because if you do follow certain things, you can try to avoid crises. It's never your fault if you get sick or you have a crisis, but there are ways, you can try to prevent those things from occurring. But sickle cell is a global problem. It's not a black disease. It's found in many corners of this world. You know, it, there there's so much hate in this world. There's so much going on in this world. It's hard to pinpoint how to change things. There's so many people working really hard. I just wish I could do more. So for all of you who are out there who are feeling ignored, you are the reasons I'm still around. Because I would have allowed, my depression to take me under long ago if I didn't feel this fight was worth fighting. I do not want to see, little young ones running around and they have to suffer the pain I've gone through. So I'm going to continue to use my art to promote sickle cell disease. Every post on my Facebook, people ask me, "Do you sell anything?" I do have, I do try to sell things, but it's not about the sales. It's not about what money I make. I ask for donations and things. But sometimes you have to understand it's very hard to get your name out there. You get products and things. You know, people want to click to sicklecellart.com. They can do that. But it's not about where what paintings I'm selling or how I'm living. It's about if I'm making a difference for someone else, because I would want someone to help me. find my way when I'm in trouble. And there have been many people, so many names I can't really talk list them, that have helped me in the times that I felt helpless. I was watching a video earlier, and one of the YouTubers I usually follow, which is a science guy, he was talking about learned helplessness. I'm gonna try to play this video because he explains it much better, but it makes a lot of sense.
Welcome to beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. This is actually where I grew up, just across that water. And I remember when I was a teenager here, I wanted to be a filmmaker. And so what did I do? Well, I found a film director with a strange name who lived in Vancouver. I saw her on the cover of this magazine, and then I just looked up her number in the phone book, in the white pages, because that's how you did back in the year 2000. And I gave her a call, and she said she was on the other line, but she'd call me back. And strangely enough, she did call me back. And it was amazing. I got to chat to her about filmmaking. I guess what I really wanted was for someone else to be able to provide me with an opportunity to get on set, to get some experience in that industry and show me what it's like. I just want to know, and it's so hard when you're on the outside to figure out how to break in. You just want to reach out to someone who knows and say, help me with this. There is a psychological phenomenon known as learned helplessness, and the experiments conducted way back decades ago that established this phenomenon were really quite terrible. What they would do is take dogs, and for some of them at least, they would force them to endure a punishment. For example, they would receive electric shocks, and there was nothing they could do to prevent those shocks. For other dogs, there were actually little levers or a fence they could hop over that would stop the shocks. Now, later on, they took all of those dogs and they tested them again, but in environments where every one of those dogs had the opportunity to avoid the shocks by taking some action. Now, what was found was those dogs that had been forced to endure the shocks and had no way of stopping them just kind of came to accept the shocks, even when there were actions that they could take which would stop them. So this is learned helplessness. They have learned that there's nothing they can do to stop that uncomfortable situation. There's a related study carried out with adults where they were trying to complete a task, except there was this distracting noise playing. Now, some of the adults had the ability to turn off that noise, whereas others did not. It was not under their control. And when you look at the performance, the adults who had the control to turn off the noise performed better, even when they didn't actually exercise that control. So they just let the noise play, but the knowledge that they could shut it off if they wanted to made them perform better. I have worked at many jobs now, some very menial and some more managerial or entrepreneurial, like I was basically running the show. And what I've found is that there's kind of this divide between employees and managers. When you're an employee and you're assigned to do something, you try to do it as best you've been shown, but if you hit a roadblock, you kind of stop, and you go to your manager or supervisor and you say, hey, what do I do now? Now, I've done that before. I've done it when I was a research assistant. I'd get some result, I didn't really know what was going on, and I'd just take it to my supervisor. The supervisor would say, oh, well, why don't you try this? And that suggestion that they made was always one that I knew, or, I could have thought of if I just spent 5 minutes on it, or if I really wanted to achieve that goal. But instead, I just had this mentality, like, I'm carrying out this task, and when I get stuck, I'm just going to ask someone else. There's a story that Tim Ferriss tells. He's the guy who wrote The 4-Hour Workweek, which is a book I would recommend. But he went and visited this university, and he challenged the students that he was talking to. He said, look, I will give you $25,000 and a trip around the world for anyone who shows that they have made contact by some sort of signature or email or letter or something with either Jennifer Lopez, Bill Clinton, who I think at the time was the president, possibly, and J.D. Salinger, who's the most reclusive writer of all time. And did anyone do it? No. Not a one. Now, the following year, he went back to the same university, and in addition to making the challenge, he told them the story from the previous year, that no one had actually done it. No one had really tried. In that year, 6 people actually achieved his challenge. The point being, you need to find a way around the learned helplessness mentality, the employee mentality, and find a way to realize that things that seem impossible can be accomplished if you really accept that you have control of these things, that it's not outside of your control. Maybe a question we should ask is, does our school system promote learned helplessness? Do we force kids to suffer punishment that they really can't change time and time and time again, and then we expose them to a world and say, now you go out and do what you want to do? I think to a certain degree we are doing that, you know? School is, for a lot of kids, just a weird and unusual kind of punishment. And I guess it's no wonder that they learn that, there's things beyond their control, because school is kind of about taking control away from kids. For the dogs, how did they get the dogs to overcome their learned helplessness and actually get away from the shocks they were receiving? They tried treats and encouragements, but it didn't work. They had to physically move the dogs away from the area where they were being shocked at least twice before they would actually learn that they had the power to change their fate, that they didn't have to suffer that kind of punishment again and again.
That is learned helplessness. This applies to sickle cell disease because of the suffering that we go through. When I was a child, my mother probably said the worst thing that she could possibly say to me, or probably did the worst thing that she could possibly do to me. It was that when I wanted to go do anything, she was so overprotective. She didn't allow it to happen because if you do this, you'll get sick, she said. And being sick is like a punishment because it's so much tremendous pain. You don't want to feel that kind of pain. So you don't want to really do anything because you're afraid that you'll get sick. So I remember I wanted to be a Boy Scout. Everybody was applying at my school, and I filled out the application, and I wanted to go be a Boy Scout. I took the oath and everything, but when it came time for the Boy Scouts to go out and go camping outside, she was afraid and she said, "No, you can't go, you'll get sick." While all of my friends went to the camp and they went out camping, I had to stay home. I couldn't go camping. There were many things like that during my childhood that made me feel helpless, that made me feel like I had no control over my life. It was no, you have sickle cell, you can't achieve that. That is one of the worst lessons I had to unlearn. That is why I fight so hard to make it as a painter, but I can't ignore that I have sickle cell disease because there are so many limitations placed on me. The art world is hard enough that there are so many closed doors. It's like who you know, who you are in contact with, and how much advertising money is behind you for you to have a name, for you to make it. So I'm stuck. Sometimes I feel helpless because I feel like I'm stuck. You know, I share everything that I try to accomplish, but I am pushing and I am fighting against a lot of learned helplessness. Like in the Veritasum video, you heard how the study of the dogs were shocked so much that they know they had no control over the shock, so they just sat there and they would not even move when they had the ability to move away from the shocks. So somebody had to physically pick up the dog and move it away from the shock in order for it to know that it can move now. Learned helplessness. Now, with sickle cell disease, there are so many ways in my life that I had to learn how to be helpless, how to allow my mother to take care of me, how to allow my mother to set the limits in my life. I do not know if it was a blessing or a curse that my mother died when I was so young, at 13 years old. I was 13 and she died in a car crash. And I remember that memory in so long. It's such a painful, painful memory. Helpless to stop that event from happening. Helpless, you know. There are so many times I've tried to fight for my art. Every time I try to work and work and work, I got sick and I lose a job and I can't pay my rent. I was homeless 3 times. But you learn to pick yourself up, you get up and you have to, because no one is going to be, my mother is not around anymore. That's nothing for me to fall back on. So, in a way, I had to learn, because after she died, I had to learn. There's nobody to ask permission to do anything in my life. I basically, raised myself after that. But there's still the struggles with the pain and the memories of being hospitalized and knowing that if I do this, I might get sick. That's always in the back of my mind. And if I get sick, you know, I might end up in the ICU. And if I end up in the ICU, I might not make it. Because there are so many of my friends who have, this week I see them, and next week, there's a post on Facebook, this person's gone. You know, and people look at my art and they say it's amazing. It's like, why you not getting paid? Why you not making it? And I'm like, I wonder why too. About a few weeks ago, I posted about my new art shop, and there was like one person purchased something from Facebook, from a friend from Facebook from a long time ago. Went to that shop, and the shirts, the hoodies were $75, and he purchased one. I'm not gonna share his picture until he gives me permission to post it on my Facebook, but because Facebook can be so cruel when you post photos of people, you just never know, because having so many people following you, it's not my place to post folks. If they're not a public figure, I'm not gonna post their photos unless they give me permission. But that was my only supporter. That was the only person who went and purchased the product. And I have to admit, I can't even afford that product. $75 for a hoodie. That's expensive for me, you know. But I want one because they look nice. When he wore it, they turned out really nice. Like this shirt I wore, you know, like this shirt I was wearing. It's like everybody looked at the shirt when I went to Q-Scan. They were like, "Do they make these shirts?" Well, it's on my sicklecelart.com. You can go there and you can get it. But it's like they don't make those shirts anymore. It's like for years you go through life and you try to share your art, and you try to share these. Nobody purchased this. For many years they were online and nobody supported. You know, so I'm still fighting and I'm still doing my art, and I'm still. This is the thing, man. I have sickle cell disease, but I'm a painter. So when I spend a lot of money creating a piece like this, nobody is going to buy this because it's about sickle cell disease. You understand? It's about pain. It's not beautiful art. only the people in the community sees this as this speaks to me. But if they're sick like me, they don't have the money to afford or to support me, because I don't have the money to support me. So when I create a big piece like this, I want to do more big pieces like this, but I'm taking the money and I'm creating the sickle cell work, you know, which doesn't sell. It's for education, it's for awareness. So I need my community to support me, but I don't want to seem like, I'm using sickle cell, you know, because that's not where my heart is. My heart is to make a difference, you know, but I can't make a difference unless I have money, which is a catch 20, a catch 20, it's amazing. It's just, it's weird. So I'm working so hard on this new direction of my work, and I'm on Patreon. I have 14 patrons, and I need 2,000 patrons in order for me to live and survive. But I have 14 right now, and that's a start. So my goal is, for the next 5 years, I'm gonna keep pushing and keep asking for people to pick up the dog and move it. Because if I feel helpless, I've been through the torture. I've been through the pain and the punishment. I need help, and I'm not ashamed to ask for help, to say that I am feeling depressed. So I'm on antidepressants, because I don't want to commit suicide. I don't want to lose because my mind is playing tricks on me. I don't want to go there. So I don't mess with the things that cause me to feel stressed or cause me to feel down, and I don't play around with negativity. If you post something on Facebook and I find it negative, I'm either gonna unfriend you or I'm gonna unfollow you. Because if you're negative and you're negative, I just don't play. Because it just affects me. I'm like a sponge. I take all the negativity and I think about it all night, and I don't go to sleep. So I put all the I feel all this pain fuels my art, and I just keep working. My computer breaks on me, my camera break on me, my phone breaks on me, you know, but I keep pushing, man. I keep pushing, because you can learn to be helpless, but you have the power to overcome these things. Life is short as that Prince picture just showed up. It's like one of my heroes in life, because the songs just help me through a lot. But you just keep going. It's like you losing yourself. Life is the way it is, and we just have to remember that life is the way it is. The pain comes and it goes, and the days that we don't feel pain, we have to do something, because life is worth living, and it's worth being pain free. So we have to find a cure for this, for everyone. But for me personally, this is my life. I am no different than anyone else. Just because Facebook finally decided to put a little check mark next to my name doesn't mean that I stop struggling. You know, I'm doing the best that I can, but as much as I want to, my story is still about Invisible Man. you know, it's incredible how you know a writer in a newspaper can get your story correctly, because you just feel like you are invisible. But things change. Once you use your voice, you use power that you have to change things. We have to think that we can change things. um as I'm doing the video, the person who purchased the 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 art told me I can share the photos. But as you can see, he said between you and me. I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I'm gonna close the thing. It's like he's saying between you and me, it would look better on someone who's Haitian. Facebook, stop popping up, man. I don't want the man's. Let me go to another window. I don't want what he has to say to go on live on my video. I'm almost done anyway. I'm almost done with my rants. It's hard because it's hard for me to share more than I do. I have a few channels on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube. This is Life, Art, and Sickle Cell. I'm not gonna post this video on here because it seems like I don't have enough followers and I'm not reaching as many people as I could on Facebook, because Facebook now gave me the ability to reach more people, because once you get that check mark, you are able to reach a little bit more people, because they open up some app. There's an app called Mentions that you can use to reach more people of influence. So that's my life, and I'm sharing for today, June 19th, and I'm hoping that I'm helping, that I can inspire someone to think about learned helplessness. It's a thing that happens. It's a true thing that happens in in your mind. It's a psychology, it's a tested fact because it's been tested, you know. Psychology is a deep thing because it's a study of the human mind and how we think and how we behave. And we can learn behaviors because it's a biological thing, you know. So the way you treat a dog, the dog is always going to be acting in a certain way. But humans behave in the same similar fashion. If we get into a career minded or employee mentality, like the man was saying, we just gonna go to the boss instead of thinking about what we should do. What's the solution of the problem? We go to the higher up and we ask for permission to do this, you know, or direction to do. Which way should I go, sir? You know, that slave mentality, man. Learned helplessness. All those negative things. I hope I can uplift you as I feel uplifted by the people who support me, by the people who help me. You know, I I, I didn't want to post what was being said there, because when I posted my art on the shirts, the man who purchased it is he's a white guy who really loves Haitian culture, and he's wearing it. He's going to Haiti. He's going to a parade called Rara, and it's interesting to see that this is the first person to support my clothing thing. So he says he thinks that it should be a Haitian person wearing it. I don't think so, because in my heart, it is a person who supported my work that should be representing it, you know? That's how I feel. It's not about color or nationality. It's about where the heart is. His heart was, "Hey, I like this. Let me support it." You know? That's what I care about. I don't care if he's Haitian, black, or white. He's white. But he supported my art. He paid $75 for this thing. Let me see if I have the photo, because if he's posting something private, I don't wanna, you know, I don't wanna put him on blast if he's posting something private. But this is what I'm saying about my life. I'm struggling and I'm trying to. I have products out here that could sell, but I don't have the support. If I put a shop up, you know, you see these hoodies, right? They're $75. There's nothing wrong with them. Why they're not selling? They're not selling. So I struggle and I ask for donations and I ask for help. Nobody has gone to my shop except one person, one man, one white dude, not a Haitian dude, not a Haitian person. There's a lot of Haitians who are proud to be Haitian. I put Negma on a nice shirt and a nice hoodie, $75. It's not like it's expensive, because this person is gonna say this is expensive. Look at this shirt. It's $24.99. What's wrong with it? Negma. What's wrong with it? You Haitian. Why you not supporting it? It's just like that. Nobody knows how to support our own community. It seems like we get to this place. Well, this is $80, $79. So this man spent $79 on a hoodie. But I want to rock this. If you're gonna spend like 100 and something on a you know a polo shirt. There's so many brand names out there. I don't see the difference. I don't see the difference why you can't support me. You know, but that's life. Because if I'm able to make it, I'm able to give back, because I feel a pain every time I see something like yesterday just hanging over there. They don't have the funding to do the work that they need to do for the sickle cell. QScan don't have enough funding to do the work that is needed, necessary, you know, to save the lives that are, it's sad, man. And I get depressed because I feel like that helplessness comes back, because you just feel like, damn, I could do more. I should do more. I should do more. This is my paintings on the hoodie. He's not a Haitian man. He's not a black man. He's a man who appreciates the culture of Haiti and appreciates my artwork. And he decided to spend $80 sight unseen. He didn't touch the fabric. He doesn't know what the fabric feels like. He don't know what the texture feels like. He just decided he's going to Haiti. He's going to a parade. He wants to wear this. What is wrong with that? Sure, for advertising, it would be nice to have a pretty black woman, Haitian woman wearing this thing. It would be nice, or a brother, wearing this. It'd be nice. But not everybody. It needs to be a model. You don't need to be a model to support somebody. You know. The thing is, I don't make this. I just provide the artwork. I provide the artwork. So out of the $80 that it costs for the product, this website gets, I don't know how much, a lot of money, but I get 575. That's how much I make off that, off that sale. But if I have thousands of people coming here buying this stuff, then I don't have to worry about where I'm eating and how I'm living. But the reason why I want to make it is that I don't want to feel helpless, and I don't want to be helpless in helping my community make it. Because really, if I had the money, I would fund a cure for sickle cell disease. Because there are people out there right now who are celebrities. They have black skin like I do. They are celebrities, have a garage full of Lamborghinis. They have two or three Rolls Royces, you know, Bentleys. For the price of one of these cars, you understand that you could run a organization like QScan in the Queens for a whole year for the price of one of those cars. You could run an organization funded for a whole year. But actually, a Lamborghini could run an organization like QScan for like about 10 to 20 years. It's incredible how little funding these organizations have. So, you can hear me rambling on about learned helplessness, but sickle cell disease.org is my favorite charity. Today is June 19th, World Sickle Cell Day. Here's the donation button.